Hello and welcome to this Come to Jesus Daily Devotional and our Summer Inspiration series. And today we finish our reflections in Colossians 3 as we consider the attributes that we need to clothe ourselves with and put on in order to have healthy relationships. Let's read from Colossians 3, 12 to 14. Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Yesterday we looked at these verses and we considered how understanding that we are chosen and dearly loved is essential for how we can then treat others. It's on the basis of our new identity that we are to put on the new self. Firstly, it talks of compassion. This is to feel deeply for others' suffering. It says of Jesus in Matthew 9:36, when he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. We're to put on compassion. As Jesus has shown us compassion, we're to show compassion. A big reason why the church is so often prayerless and fruitless is that she is not dressed in the compassion of Jesus. Compassion is what gives urgency to our faith. So compassion then. Secondly, kindness. Our compassion is to overflow into acts of kindness rather than unwise zeal that burns people. We see in our news and social media people who allow their zeal to flow over not into kindness but into anger and outrage and unwise behaviour. But rather for the Christian, our compassion, our deep feeling is to overflow into kindness. We don't burn people with unwise zeal. We serve people in the best way for their best outcomes. This refers to acts of kindness in light of God's kindness to us in Christ. This kindness is best expressed in the gospel as Paul writes in Ephesians 2, 6-7. And God raised us up with Christ, seated us with him in the heavenly realms in Christ Jesus, in order that in the coming ages he might show his incomparable riches of his grace expressed in his kindness to us in Christ Jesus. So kindness, the way to put on, is to put on Christ-likeness that reflects the gospel of grace. So there's to be compassion, followed by kindness, then there's to be humility, thirdly. This is to imitate Christ in his humble service to God and us. This is about not thinking too highly of oneself. Someone with humility does not always have to have his or her way or have the high status roles and positions. They're more aware of their own failures than of others' failures. The opposite is pride, which is revealed when we are easily offended and fail to humbly serve. We are to be Christ-like, of whom we read in Philippians 2 verse 8, and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. So Christians, we're to put on compassion. We're to put on kindness. We're to put on humility. All of these things perfectly pictured for us in Christ. And fourthly, we're to put on gentleness or meekness. We're to dress in the meekness of Jesus. We're told of Christ's meekness in Matthew 11:29. Take my yoke upon you, learn from me, for I am gentle or meek and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. To dress or to be yoked with meekness is to have strength, but to have it under control. Jesus, for example, is terribly powerful. He's omnipotent, yet he treats us with gentleness. Likewise, we're to exert the appropriate amount of force in our relationships. Gentleness. Finally, patience. This is long suffering. This is to put up with people who annoy us for whatever reason. Too many people leave their local church or area because they're not prepared to have patience. However, Jesus' patience towards us is to be imitated in our lives. Let's dress in patience. So in response, are we applying this therefore, as we looked at the beginning? Therefore, are we treating others as we've been treated by God? Let's dress like Jesus. Why would we want to wear the old grubby fashions of our old life? Many people give so much of their time to researching and buying fashionable clothing. However, are we devoted to considering and dressing in the new wardrobe given to us by God? Are we putting on the right things and putting off the old things? We will have a healthy and God-honouring church and wonderful, healthy, joy-giving relationships if we learn to put off the old and put on the new. God bless you.